Physique assessment. The question our expert panel addresses: what is DXA useful for? Associate Professor Gary Slater.
DXA was a technology that was originally established to be able to track changes in bone health and to diagnose osteoporosis. More recently, over the last 10 to 15 years, myself as well as many other researchers have used it as a technique for being able to assess body composition, and it's becoming more routinely available out there in the general society. Some of the unique benefits associated with DXA is it provides not only a measure of whole body composition but also regional composition, and really it's the only tool that can help provide us with information on that. Here we're talking about the ability to compare and contrast left and right arm, left and right leg for example. Normally with clients and athletes that come through, I can tell if they're left or right handed. Their dominant arm will normally carry a higher amount of bone mass and a higher amount of skeletal muscle mass. We've had a couple of anomalies over time. I can remember an elite fast bowler, a right arm fast bowler. Now normally the bone mass in the right arm might be within 10 to 20 grams. His was 50 grams higher on his right arm. Interestingly, on his left leg his bone mass was higher by 70 grams. I thought, what's going on here? And then you think about it biomechanically, it's the left leg that impacts, so it completely makes sense. The individuals that have that absolute symmetry tend to be left-handed individuals because they'll do A, B and C with left, D, E, F with right. One of the other potential benefits associated with DXA in not only providing a measure of fat mass and bone mass is that it also provides us with an estimate of visceral adipose tissue, and it's been validated to provide that. So we get an index of that internal fat, and that can be used in health risk assessments for individuals as well. So DXA, great tool for being able to assess bone health, also providing us with invaluable information on whole body fat and lean tissue as well as regional composition. There's a small amount of radiation exposure associated with it, so normally there's a cap on the number of DXA scans a person can have. Typically that's in the range of 4 to 6 times per year, but to be honest, as a practitioner, I'd never want clients to have more assessments than that. I think about the rugby athletes that I work with. We might have a DXA scan at the start of pre-season, the end of pre-season, because that's the time frame in which the majority of their body composition changes occur, and then perhaps at the end of the season. That would be complemented with more regular assessments of their body composition using surface anthropometry, a technique that's got really good resolution and there's no health risk associated with the use of it. So we can be assessing people every 3 to 4 weeks. Because the reality is, when I'm trying to change body composition for an individual, I use the reports and the information that's generated to manipulate what I'm doing. And I simply can't wait the entire pre-season between the first DXA scan and the second DXA scan to assess whether or not the results I'm getting are bringing me close to where I want to be with the client. The surface anthropometry affords me that opportunity to be more aggressive and more proactive in regards to my dietary manipulations based on how they are responding.
Professor Tim Ackland.
So DXA was invented to measure bone mineral density and bone mineral content. Subsequent algorithms were then developed for estimating fat and lean tissue. The DXA measures are reliable and can be used in prospective studies for body composition with an error of less than 3%.
Dr. Kagan Ducker.
It's quite a good way to get a breakdown of whole body composition and have a breakdown over some of the regions of the body, the arms, the torso, the legs, that sort of thing. And it's also quite a nice, quick and relatively easy assessment that we can use.
Associate Professor Deborah Kerr.
Well, DXA came about really as a result of wanting to measure bone density, and as the technology has improved, it's allowed us to also measure body composition. So its primary use has been for bone density. So the advantage of DXA is that it can actually measure both. So body composition and bone density.
Associate Professor Masaharu Kagawa.
DXA is useful to estimate body density, bone mineral content, and also in terms of a risk of osteoporosis and osteoporosis. And now recent DXA machines are also capable to determine a region of interest of different body parts, body sites. So therefore, body composition, it can be used for general body composition assessment as well.
For further information on physique assessment, see our book, Best Practice Protocols for Physique Assessment in Sport, published by Springer.